Good morning, everyone. Labrīt visiem. Aicināšu ieņemt sēdvietas vēl kājās stāvošajiem. So, good morning, dear guests, dear speakers, dear partners, and all the participants. I'm really excited to welcome you all to this assembly from Bridging to Succeeding, which is devoted for the university and business cooperation theme. The topic is really wide, deep, even complex, I would say. And although universities and industry have been collaborating over a century, but only now, when the global knowledge economy is rising, it becomes more and more important. And I think really strategic partnerships are the ones that will take it forward, will make this impact more long-lasting and more valuable to all. For those strategic partnerships to work, this kind of chemistry between all parties should work. And it's really two-sided dialogue. And in that sense, I'm really happy to see that this event today gets together participants and members from all parties, from academia, the leaders from academic institutions, academic people who work with students, also researchers, and even some students themselves. And most importantly, but not most important, but also the same goes for business representatives and other members who are here today. So I hope that the day will be very valuable for all of us, will deliver good takeaways for everyone. And I must say that the assembly and also the project as such, University Business Cooperation driven by success stories, is supported by Norpus Horizontal program, thanks to the funding received, DPA SQUALIO, Latvian Investments and Development Agency, and other our cooperating partners. So I hope that we will meet your expectations in the day. Unfortunately, this morning I have to also start with apologies and a sad message that Mr. Ray Hammond, the futurologist from UK, couldn't come over. Unfortunately, yesterday he was delivered to hospital, not to the flight, and we are very, very sorry. It was last moment message. I know that we all expected to hear his thoughts about where the business goes in the next 10 years and how this will change the relationship between academia and businesses. But things happen, and I really still hope that we will have exciting morning session and also afternoon sessions after the lunch. So the day is structured around 3 themes. The first one is from innovative ideas to innovative solutions. We will discuss the future of innovation. And after the lunch, we will meet to discuss future of human resources and labor market relationships, followed by the discussions related to cooperation platforms, systems, and models. So I welcome you all once again. And with this, I would like to give a floor and welcome address to Professor Mārcis Auziņš, Rector of the University of Latvia.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to welcome all of you to the University of Latvia, to the large aula of the University of Latvia, on the occasion of opening this very important conference about bridging and succeeding. I see many new faces in our large aula. Probably I should give a very brief introduction to my university. Currently, University of Latvia is the largest university in our country, the only one classical type university, which means that we are covering almost all subject areas. When I am saying almost all subject areas, I mean that we have not very many engineering departments at our university. We have some, but mostly engineering is, engineers are educated at our Riga Technical University. Otherwise, we are covering social sciences, humanities, medicine, hard sciences, of course, teacher training and other fields as well. Definitely, we are a research university, which means that our education is research-based. Maybe I can briefly describe afterwards what we mean by that. It's not just buzzword. This is what we are really do and what is the basic model of training at our university. But just to illustrate that we are really a research institute and a research institution, I can mention just few facts. For example, if we are counting research output by publications in high-level research journals, and there's very precise definition of what we mean by high-level research journals, it is the way usually how research output is counted when different university rankings are prepared. If we are doing this type of comparison of research output, then University of Latvia is delivering more than 50% of all the research output generated in our country. Another way to look at the research intensity at the university is count number of PhD defenses. Again, if we are doing this way, University of Latvia each year is contributing something around 50% of all the PhDs defended at our country. We have around 20 research institutes at our university. Many of them are ranked very highly when just recently there was conducted research evaluation at our country. From 15 high-ranked research institutions, 6 were from the University of Latvia. In some sense, we also crashed some common feelings that research can be done only in research universities, in research institutions, because in this survey it appeared that from these 6 highly evaluated research institutions from University of Latvia, 3 were departments and 3 were our research institutes. As well, this survey shows that we can have also high-level research in humanities, which always was discussion in Latvia, because at least one of the research institutes in this list of highly ranked institutions was from humanities. This is what, at the present moment, University of Latvia is. We are not only a research institution and not only educational institution. We always play some certain role as a society of Latvia. I think on our slogan, which is a little partially hidden behind this screen, but you can probably guess what is there. Scientiat Patria, for science and for fatherland. I think this second part of this slogan, to the fatherland, means that we are always deep involvement in all the processes which are happening in Latvia, and I believe, at least partially, this conference is of this kind. It's not purely research conference, it's conference about collaboration and interaction between research, between businesses and between all these components and society in general. I am sure that you will have very interesting talks today, formal presentations, and equally well I hope that the informal discussions, all these discussion forums which are expected will be interesting. I see that you will have some long coffee breaks. Why I'm mentioning this? I believe that this is a very important part of the conferences, because during these coffee breaks, some informal discussions, even more informal than in these seminars, are happening. And I hope very much that after this conference, some new collaborations between industry and researchers at the university will start. Maybe some new projects will start. And if this will be happening, then I will be thinking that conference was really successful. So I wish all the success to your conference, many good discussions, and for our guests, I hope that you will have also time to enjoy our beautiful city Riga, especially old city. So all the best for the conference. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I said, it takes both sides, so I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Vitalis Gavrilos on behalf of Employers Confederation and Businesses.
Thank you very much. Labrīt visiem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Auziņš, dear colleagues. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the International University Business Forum addressing university and business cooperation through success story. I hope it will be. In today, world cooperation has to be our watchword. Partnership and cooperation are unique tool to effectively reinforce university and business cooperation. We must all work together if you want our countries and Europe to make the climb back to sustainable growth. This forum helps to break down the walls that keep the walls of education, research, and business apart, and to build new connection between the public and private sector. Our mutual ideas and proposal will strengthen this connection and will help to provide growth, jobs, and welfare, thus helping to achieve EU 2020 strategy. Today, Latvia is in a very unique situation. We have developed a long-term development strategy 2030. We have adopted the National Development Plan 2014-2020. We have also committed to the EU 2020 strategy, and therefore we have translated the overall EU objective into our own national targets in the National Reform Program. Latvia has committed to 73% of population aged from 20 till 64 to be employed. In the best time, Latvia has just 68. It means this target is quite ambitious. Second, Latvia is committed to 1.5% of GDP to be invested in research and development. Currently, Latvia invested around only 0.6%, but business practically not satisfied about this so low ambition for our government, because Europe in this program 2020 they invested 3% for GDP to research and development. It means our mutual target today to convince our government in Parliament to rethink this objective, and we will be pushing maximally, really, like it's happened. Second, we want also more people completing higher education degree and to work in graduated level job or become entrepreneurs. You know, in Latvian case, it's very sorry, but around only 30 entrepreneurs per 1,000 population compared with the 54 Europe and 85 United States. It means it is a very, very important target to us to increase the amount of entrepreneurs. National strategy firmly commit to achieving knowledge-based economy with great attention paid to the role of education in transformation of the economy towards higher value added and greater productivity. And this is why this forum for us is so important. The competitiveness of the economy is increasingly dependent on the availability of qualified and entrepreneurial workforce. The Minister of Economy has counted that by 2020, Latvia is going to lack 11,000 of higher education graduates in the fields of engineering, production, national scientists, mathematics, and information communication technology, which is huge number for such small economy and labor market like Latvia has. Latvia has the National Industrial Development Strategy, and currently the only limit for industrial development is availability of qualified workforce. The demands for workforce with higher education degree will continue to grow. in 2030, in comparison to 2011, the demand will be twice times as higher. For whole Latvian economy, we will need additional 168,000 people with a different kind of higher education degree. That means that by 2030, almost, Minister of Economy said half, but we expect 30–40% of Latvia's workforce will need higher education degree if we are to maintain positive growth and improve our competitiveness. At the same time, we face demographic challenges with fewer young people, immigration, and aging populations, which ensure that these goals become even more challenging for us. We have to remember that the challenges that we have today can become our success story for future. Future problem can't be solved anymore with a past solution. The main differences lies in the need for better and wider cooperation. We can't afford to be self-sufficient anymore, and cooperation is the only way why we can become more efficient. The only way to face aforementioned challenges is to ensure mutually coordinated national economical strategy. Our ambition in this field is, first, to become one of the top 30 countries among 148 nations on the Global Competitive Index, where Latvia currently is ranked 52, Lithuania 48, Estonia 32. But who is the tiger in Baltic Sea? Finland, third place. Excellent example, but today can talk about success story. Second, to be included among 20 best countries among 183 countries on Doing Business ranking. And the current Latvia ranks 24. Lithuania, 17. Estonia, 22. But who is the tiger? Who is the leader? Denmark, number 5. Again, next to our neighbor. We can look and we can go, what's the kind of experience? Why is this the best in the class around us? Third, to ensure that the country's credit rating is one of the best among the Baltic states. Now we have BBB+, but I hope it will progress. A should be as soon as possible. And of course, will be 3A. It's our target. And should be, of course, the best between all Baltic countries. Universities are at the heart of knowledge triangle. They have the potential to be crucial driver of our ambition to become knowledge-based economy. University have the potential to become significant player in the economy, being able to respond better and faster to the demands of the market and develop partnership which foster scientific and technological knowledge. On the other hand, enterprises could help university to reshape curriculum, governance structure, and contribute to funding. And I think we a lot talk about the European quality management system. I think it's one of the systems which today is the best around the world. Status quo. The level of cooperation remains very unequal across different higher education institutions and academic disciplines. Legal and financial framework still fails to reward and even may hinder the efforts of university to cooperate with business. For example, there are legal restrictions to use research equipment for commercial reasons. Why? Public universities receive funding on the basis of student number, not because of the excellent quality of studies or cooperation with the business. Even more, public higher education institutions are limited to use foreign language in their study. It is frequently mentioned by Professor Auziņš in his article, but politicians and the Minister of Education and Science do not hear him. He is here. He can explain why we can explain about why it's needed. But it is a precondition for internationalization of higher educations. Very few higher education institutions in Latvia have institution-wide strategy for cooperation with enterprise. Only some have included in their strategy the goal to serve the economic development. Only some have announced the ambition to ensure good employment opportunity for their graduates and to ensure that every student get a necessary entrepreneurship training needed nowadays for successful careers and businesses. Huge challenges remain to offer all students quality trainerships, both due to lack of trainerships opportunity in enterprises and due to small organizational capacity in institutional. But there are also positive development because many higher education institutions are developing tools to track information about their graduated employment. Many institutions are busy with developing better career services for their students. Many universities have developed their own business incubator, as well as are working on developing their innovation and technology translation center. The Employer Confederation of Latvia, we unite large businesses, leaders in their sector, as well as sectoral and regional employer association. Altogether, our members employ 41% of the Latvian workforce and provide 70% of GDP. Several universities have joined our family during the last few years, including to the largest university. One of these, it's Latvian University and Technical University. Many of business people are also involved in the consultation body of individual university, what ensure practical advice on institutional level. Hereby, we work together also within our organization. Our common goal is to bring higher education closer to labor market needs and to find best solution to problems faced by higher education sector, such as insufficient and inefficient financial systems, fragmentation of resources, question quality of some of study programs, new quality assurance systems, raising internationalizations, and prestige of higher educations. LDDK, as a social partner for the government and the parliament, has a unique opportunity to help to find effective solution to address these challenges. As for the biggest voice representing the business on the national and international level, it is also our responsibility to consult government on the issue related to economic and social development. LDDK represents business on the National Tripartite Council, together with the Minister of the Government and the Trade Union, which is the best consultation mechanism of the national level, because the major target for us is provide social peace, growth, job, and welfare. Our common vision is that higher education in relation to university business cooperation should improve in the following directions. First, better development of transfer skills as well as fundamental knowledge of economics and of technology at all levels of qualification. Second, stronger learning outcome-based approach. Third, ensuring opportunity for every student to gain quality practical experience that could contribute to their career. Fourth, entrepreneurship education has to be comprehensive and open to all interested students in all academic disciplines. Learning activities can take place well beyond the walls of the university, and they can greatly contribute also to development of communities and business exciting around university. Fifth, flexibility and openness to different needs of different learners, including lifelong learners. Sixth, greater involvement of entrepreneurs and business people into teaching, which can be very motivating to students. Exchange of experience between academic staff and business should also be encouraged. Conclusion. On this basis, we are having this forum bringing together university and business leaders. This forum serves us as cooperation platform. It is an excellent opportunity to have a good networking and inspiration from each other and from the key speakers, which are going to share with us their experience and future vision. And to them, you can later address your practical question or consideration. I hope that by the end of this forum, each of us will have at least some new ideas for future cooperation project and at least some new partners. I sincerely believe that if university and business can develop and play to their complementary strengths, their Latvian higher education will become an even stronger force, and one which can steer our society and economy in the right direction. Together, we can create our universities that compete not only on the national level, but on international level, and teach students from around the world. Higher education, export can be create great opportunity for our country. Of course, I wish you all productive forum. Thank you very much, and have a nice and beautiful day.
Thank you, Mr. Gavrilos, for setting so highly responsible grounds for our day forward. With this, I would like to hand the rest of the day in the hands of Mr. Pauls Rautseps, and Rautseps will moderate all the upcoming sessions and speeches. So please be welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Lena. We've heard two very energetic, inspirational speeches about the global view, about where we're going in terms of the macro possibilities for cooperation between business and universities. And we know that our politicians and our businessmen and our academics and journalists often talk about innovation, about knowledge-based economy, about competitiveness, about all these words. But the fact is that to get there, you need concrete examples, you need concrete cooperation. And this first panel, that is the goal of this first panel, to get these concrete examples in front of you as inspiration, as perhaps models for a cooperation, and we hope to explore these examples and talk about how they could help us really get to those high goals that Mr. Gavrilov set. So I'd like to invite this first panel to come in front here, please, our guests from Finland and Mr. Kolomanskis and so forth. And the format is that we will have 3 presentations. Afterwards, we'll have a discussion. We will end about 12:10. And our first presenter is Mr. Petteri Sinervo. He is the head of development and deputy director at the Brahe Center at the University of Turku. And he will be talking about airport concepts excellence from Finland. Mr. Sinervo, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, nice to be here presenting this case. Thank you for the rector and the organizers for this opportunity. I come from the University of Turku, Finland, which is pretty much like the University of Latvia in Riga, having about every discipline represented except the technological side. Or we have some engineers working with us, but not a technological faculty. I work for a unit which is nowadays called Brahe Center, which is not attached to any faculties, but operates with them in the field of the third mission, as we call it, which involves lifelong learning programs, involves technology transfer, knowledge exchange, joint research projects with the companies, applied research projects, and different kind of regional and company development work. And the case I'm going to describe you today is called Airport Concepts. And now I have animation here, or rather okay, let's see what happens. This is a typical, not that typical case of our operations. This is a company or business facilitating project, not developing any new in a way of doing research, but rather assisting and catalyzing company cooperation. And this is the place where it all started, when this building was constructed. This is the Terminal 5 of the Heathrow Airport. When this was built some 6-7 years ago, a number of Finnish companies were operating there, and they noticed that how many of they were presented on the construction side, how many were there presenting their services for the future operation of this terminal. And they started to think that, is there something common? Do we have some common interests if we are all operating in this construction side, if we are all providing products and services for the airport operators. So this was the starting point, and it turned out to be a project in which we were involved. First, we had this bunch of companies. Some of them were listed large companies, some were micro companies with less than 10 employees. All of them were providing state-of-the-art products or services. All of them were more or less addressing the aviation industry, airport operators, airport developers as their customers. But they didn't do it themselves, but the idea was catched by the Vantaa Innovation Institute Limited company, which is a development company owned by the town of Vantaa. Vantaa is the town in which the Helsinki airport is located, and Vantaa Innovation Institute wishes to boost the aviation industry and those companies operating in that field, as well as, of course, the airport area in the Helsinki area. But Vantaa Innovation Institute then started to scout for a university partner, because they knew that, or they understood that they need some sort of assistance facilitating this project, probably providing some sort of a research work or a similar kind of work which they can do, and they found us, University of Turku. So we could say that the companies recognized the opportunity, and Vantaa Innovation Institute and we at the university, we developed that opportunity, and then we jointly exploited it. Other partners included Turku Municipal Property Corporation, because there is a regional airport in Turku as well, and they are the city of Turku wants to develop that area. And we got some funding from the European structural funds. Companies paid something, Vantaa Innovation Institute paid something, we paid something, Turku paid something, and some money came from the structural fund. And the project itself, the idea was pretty simple. Combine and complement the products and services of those companies who were involved. Bundle them together, to have them a coherent concept which could be offered to the airport operators or airport developers. To do this, we started with several workshops with the companies, learning about their products, learning about how they operate, learning about which were their main customers in this field, how they approach the customers, what they could learn from each other, how we can complement, how can we build up different kind of concepts with the coherent core. We provided or started to work with the marketing materials to support this sales work. We did some research about what kind of development projects there is going on in the airport construction or terminal rebuilding or some similar kind of projects in Europe, in Asia, in Russia, in several places. We wrote joint technical specifications so that each concept would have a clear technical specifications to be used in the sales work. White papers provided sales tools, for example, different kind of calculators which would demonstrate that certain investments to the equipment would be beneficial for the airport operators. We organized and facilitated joint trade fairs and expo appearances, assisted the cooperation by providing contracts for that, for example, and did some pilot cases at the Helsinki-Vantaa Airport and Turku Airport. The outcome, well, we have illustrated this in this kind of concepts that one of these was the winter condition solutions. In Northern Europe, I'm sure are aware of that we have to remove snow and ice from the airfields every now and then. So what you need is, first of all, you need sensors to detect the microclimate within the airport area. Vaisala provides those. There is a need to plow runways and taxiways, and one must provide those three-stage plows to do it. You need chemicals to remove the ice, you need vehicles to distribute the chemicals, you need friction measurement, and you need know-how to operate this in an efficient way. And in Helsinki-Vantaa Airport, they clean up one runway with the taxiways in 9 minutes, with the interruption of only 14 minutes in the traffic. That, I guess, is definitely top of the art. That we could do a export product, export concept. Oops. Now I was in the... Sorry about this. Okay.
We are getting very to the end of
Yeah.
the slide deck, so I will rather switch it back to the... How come, I don't know. Just a moment,
Sure.
I think it was
Yeah.
here, right?
Yep, that's great. I try to be more careful. Second of these concepts was called airside solutions. For example, lighting the fragile poles and construction needed on the airside. Again, the sensors for measuring the cabling for providing to getting the lighting working, and the software for the needed to manage that system. And airport development, which included the airport area as well as the terminals. So 3 concepts definitely came out of this project. And now analyzing what we did and what was needed in this project was definitely joint goals of the participating companies and joint goals of the Vantaa Innovation Institute and some benefits for the university as well. What was also needed is a coherence for these bundles. Bundling products and services is nothing new actually. That has been done for quite some time, also for the capital goods. It's of course started with the consumer goods. In this case, what was new was that we had independent equal companies doing this together. Those kind of cases are not that, well, those are rather rare. I'm not aware of that many. And we could generate something for the companies to sell and support each other's sales work. We could demonstrate the customer benefits for the airport operators quite easily in the case of winter condition management, for example, with a calculator showing that investing to this equipment, you need this amount of money. But on the other hand, if you can avoid your airport being closed down at least once, you have about saved those money. A couple of years ago, Heathrow closed down for 2 days because of the snow, and the cost was calculated in tens of millions of pounds. So with the investments to decent equipment, they would have probably avoided that disclosure. Creating trust between the partners was essential work here, which was done by informal ways of getting the partners to know each other's process, but also formally by providing legal contracts to support this cooperation. Providing intelligence, business intelligence of what is going on in this field, but also one has to be critical about our achievements, that there are limitations for this kind of facilitating work. We started with 15 companies. During the process we get 2 more, but then again later on 3 of the companies dropped off. They didn't find any enough benefits for this cooperation. We had planned to get at least 4 concepts in place. We managed to do 3. The 4th one really didn't get going. There was some cooperation between 2 or 3 companies, but not really. We couldn't really get a coherent cluster for the terminal side concept. And of course, companies are operating, they have their own goals, and this was only one of of their activities. So we have to accept that as well, that it is a focus for some companies more than for some others. But what I'm happy is that this was we could create some sustainability for this, because during the process, an association called Airport Cluster Finland started to operate, and they are continuing and actually expanding this kind of cooperation in this field. And thinking of what each partner got from this, for the participating companies, it's obvious they got new sales opportunities, wider customer base, entering the new markets probably, and having visibility through our cooperation. But at the bottom line is that they could generate more, or they can in the future generate more sales. For the Vantaa Innovation Institute, they achieved what they wanted, having this cluster, boosting the aviation industry or any aviation-related industry in Finland. And for the university, well, we could help these companies, but we also get some data and experience which we can use both in education and in research or publications. We have already published a couple of papers based on this project, and hopefully we can find energy to do a couple of more. And that ends up my presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sinervo. That was a very interesting presentation of a very interesting idea that, especially in a small country like Latvia, where we have a lot of little companies, this ability to combine them and to work for one project is something that I'm sure we'll be able to and want to talk about some more in our panel discussion. It's like an agricultural cooperative, except for in the field of airports, and that's a very interesting idea. Our next presenter is Dr. Uldis Beters from the University of Latvia, Laboratory for Mathematical Modeling and of Environmental and Technological Processes, and he will be talking about, the title of his talk is Sparks of Innovation, Examples of Climatic and Synoptic Products. Mr. Beters, please.
Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, I was already presented here, so probably instead of case study, I will bring to your attention a little bit eclectic presentation. First, talking a little bit about who we are and what we do, and probably sharing some ideas for a panel discussion. And then I will go through some examples of innovation we are doing. And then instead of past success story, probably concentrate on something we are engaged at the very moment. Who we are? We are a group at University of Latvia, at Faculty of Physics and Mathematics. It's the abbreviation in Latvian of Laboratory for Mathematical Modeling of Environmental and Technological Processes. And we live in Symbiosis, this private consultancy company called Center of Processes Analysis and Research. You see that these names are a little bit complicated. And usually people seeing a symbiosis of university and private company ask, are you a spin-off? And it's a typical answer which we have to give, but spin, yes, but we are not leaving. We are trying to make the very nice thing which is called innovation, but do not move this innovation towards industry, and actually we are a little bit proud that we are able to generate continuous or permanent innovative solutions already for 20 years. So how it works? I will list some ingredients which probably should be in place. But first I should say that the thing which we use for bridging the gap, or probably you should glue the gap or do whatever, but instead of this glue or bridge, we are using mathematical modeling. It's a language we enjoy, and probably the driver behind what we are doing is the passion to describe the reality by equations, and then to interpret what you get when solving these equations. And then there comes these components of chemistry which are needed from both sides. And first it's eager desire to learn and ability to listen what your partners or your clients or your funding agencies are saying, how they are thinking, what are the process you are entering into. The other ingredient, which is also necessary from both sides, it's patience to explain and interpret what are the results, what actually they mean, how you can look on them from other side, probably you are not used to look at them. And of course, both sides, whatever they do, have to keep their eyes open to catch that miracle, that wonder, which probably are so seldom, but you can adapt to seeing it all the time, and it's called innovation. Yeah? And of course, somehow we have chosen the easier way, the place where these sparks of innovation can emit much often than elsewhere, and it's on the interdisciplinary issues, which are not the pet fields of some groups which probably are left behind for whatever reasons. And this multidisciplinarity then is attributed to everything, to research fields which you are entering to bring something new or get something new out of them, to the funding sources, to the industries you are cooperating with, and also the partners. The partners, whatever, are they partners in industries or are they partners in other research branches? And okay, again, as you see this process, if you remember the address of Lena is when you need some chemistry between partners, it's more driven by endorphins as continuous falling in love with something, yeah, which you want to create. And now I will just move to a set of examples and then focus on one thing which we are working at the moment. Oh, okay, probably a few more ideas how it works. And these ideas is, the thing moves around like this, that industrial consultancy generates ideas for research projects. If you do some industrial consultancy or solve industrial products, you encounter multiple of dead ends, which in this business project you never have a time or resources to explore. And some of these dead ends are not dead after all. You can find very nice ideas and solutions, and then you go for research. And research is, you never know what happens at the end. It might be dead end, but it might be something beautiful. And on the other side, this research triggers very efficient industrial solutions. And if you keep eyes open, you can move these solutions from one discipline to another, also in research branches. And maybe it's not the ideal model, because probably you should keep strings attached and pet your favorite model, your favorite science, your favorite industry forever. But you can also move around, making something interesting. I will show this kaleidoscope at the moment, introductory examples. For instance, to the right, one German company decided that it's an innovative decision by the way to make silicon oxide crucibles for holding solar silica to make them cleaner. But then again, as if you do something innovative, you need also innovative approaches to avoid problems. In this case, for instance, we help how to avoid cracking these new ways. Then another Latvian company, they tried to build vertical wind turbines. It's not a very common thing. And they were very displeased to see about the efficiency of them. And also mathematical modeling might help here. Another example, big German silicon company, they were focusing on making super thin silicon layers. And actually, the idea is quite simple. You not drill, but use another processes to make vertical holes in silica. And then by heating this material, all of a sudden, instead of vertical holes, you get bubbles beneath the surface, and then the surface separates, and you should describe it somehow. You should describe the parameters to drive this innovative process. Or probably another question which we have worked on or solved. Everybody of us drives a car, and probably on the hot summer day you have felt that droplets of water comes out from your air conditioning and probably can hit your face. How to avoid this? How to describe a process which is very secondary for the big car, but it's important for the driver. Or another example from metallurgical industry, people build probably innovative furnaces for melting metal, and they have a side effects during their innovation, which also had to be eliminated by some innovative methods, like channel furnace in this case. Or the last example in this kaleidoscope, how to make a house energetically efficient in Latvian climate. What might be these slight ideas which makes probably our region and our constructors and designers efficient in a way. Okay, if it was a kaleidoscope, I will move on one example which has some, because it's series of turns and twists about the climatic and synoptic products. Actually, the idea started already 8 years ago with one of Latvian state research program, which where several scientists from several disciplines came to us and asked what might be the future climate of Latvia. And then it was a very nice, innovative spark. We find a method how to correct simulations by regional climate models to make them very trustable. And the result of this idea was what we created a method how the simulation results might be used of observations to assess contemporary and future climate. The typical result of this is like this. On the horizontal axis here is temperature, or vertical axis here is precipitation, and the green line corresponds to contemporary climate and red one to future. It's probably nothing new, but it always is interesting to see that in the future winter might be a few months shorter, the spring becomes 2 weeks earlier, and so on. Summer longer, nice September, October, which we enjoy very much, and so on. Okay, the projects come and go, and this one ended as well. And this approach created multiple research and industrial projects which addressed particular industries. It's energetics related to hydrology, flood risk assessment, wind energy, forestry, agriculture, groundwater resources, during the last 6 years. And now I turn it a little bit around. Now comes the result, and this result was for all these projects, either they are research on industrial assessment of climate change, of impact of climate change on whatever, because you got this ability to apply the modeled future climate to some processes which are relevant for particular industries. And then the second block, of course, is adoption to that change if needed. And during this cooperation, we all of a sudden get this spark number 2, and it's the nice thing which can be called climatic indicators. It's not the observed or modeled meteorological parameters, but these are indicators which can be derived from the basic physical parameters by other models or just by simple algebraic calculations. For instance, I will not give an example of the climatic indicator, but just to say that it allows to build some metrics for comparison of climate. For instance, here I draw a map of Europe and show where in the Europe nowadays the climate is something like it will be in Latvia in 50, 80 years. Of course, if you see this map and see that probably climate in Latvia will be something like on German-French border, it doesn't mean that your grandchildren should go for winery. But if you are working in forestry, then probably it's worth considering buying your seeding material in that region, because your trees will have to survive and adapt to the climate which is now in these yellow parts of the map. And the third act in this story is what we're working at the moment. It's synoptic indicators. Actually, all of us every day see the weather forecasts, and very seldom these weather forecasts contain the parameters which are important for our everyday life and also probably for our industries. But they are not contained in the weather forecast as such. They should have been derived. And the result which we are working for a moment is production of meteorological indicators from synoptic atmosphere models. And okay, there is one research project on that at the moment. I will show you a few examples. One is probably not very innovative, but it's interesting. It's a fog map. For instance, it's not 16 of August 14, it's 16 of August 13, because we are testing it on a past data. It's a fog map in one August morning last summer, and how the fog evolves our region in the morning at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock in the morning after the sunrise, you see that over the large part of the fog has disappeared. And of course, it might be important if you are doing some logistics, if you are doing some search and rescue, and probably if you are driving to work, probably you should plan some extra 15 minutes if you have forecasts like this. They are not routinely available. Another forecast, if you add the plant grow model on top of meteorological model, you can follow how your plants, carrots, beetroots, whatever, for instance, strawberries evolve during the season. And here again are four forecasts with time spacing of 1 week, how the ripeness of strawberries evolve. This magenta color marks a time moment when the first strawberries appear, and then the color becomes gray when the strawberries are gone. You see that they started last year somewhere near Kaliningrad-Lithuanian border, how it moves northwards, how finally the strawberries are available at the seashore where the climate is cooler, then how they appear in Skåne and disappear in Lithuania, and so on. It also might be important if you are in agricultural business, or you think about where to move for your last strawberries of the season. And you can go also for, with some care, move to medicine sort of forecasts. For instance, headache is one of phenomena which are in medicine science strongly related with meteorological forecasts. And here is 4-day forecast, again starting with 17th of March last year and moving for 4 days. And the yellow color is normal conditions, so the situation is neither favorable for your headache, not unfavorable. The red means that you might have problems, and white means that you will be very happy. So you can consider or reconsider your daily activities if you have a chance to do it, having such a forecast. So probably, I hope I give some ideas, and thank you for your attention.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Bethers, for a very interesting presentation. I think Mark Twain once said that everybody always talks about the weather, but nobody ever does anything about it. And at least you're researching it so we can understand it better and have a better understanding of that. And I think we'll have a lot to talk about also about how this kind of research can help business and how you can make that connection in our panel discussion. Our next speaker is Mrs. Dalia Lukšienė. She is the director from the Directorate for Research and Innovation at Vilnius University, and she will be speaking about LIDARIS, the professional testing of laser-induced damage thresholds. Ms. Lukšienė, please.
It goes in one slide deck.
Okay.
So we get back to the same presentation.
Okay. So one after.
Just continue.
Okay. Like this. Laba diena. Hello, everybody. A case I will present today is a startup company, LIDARIS, specializing in professional testing of laser-induced damage thresholds. This company was established in 2012 by the scientists and PhD students, mainly graduates from the Laser Research Center of Vilnius University. It has 5 employees at the moment, and company is located in the premises of Vilnius University. The scientists who started this company, they were already expert in this field because they did research in the field of laser matter interaction, laser-induced damage testing for more than 10 years. So when they started this business, they had a deep knowledge, good experience, needed skills and technology, and of course, a wide network of contacts. It's very important that LIDARIS team continues to be actively involved in various international R&D projects related to laser damage topics. This is important and for the success of their business development, as this contributes to further improvement of their technologies and services. All employees are shareholders of the company. This is also quite important aspect because all employees, they look into the business as their own personal challenge, and they are more committed to the company and to the business and to its success. During 1.5 years, LIDARIS became a world-class provider of laser-induced damage testing services and innovations dedicated to improvement of high-power optics quality. Well-known research centers and leading companies in laser industry during these years became their customers, and they are scattered all over the world, as Lidaris export share is over 95% from their total sales. Just recently, in January, they received an award by the International Society of Photo-Optics Instrumentation Engineers. They received this award for research that contributed improvement of laser-induced damage testing measurement accuracy, as well as understanding of fundamental mechanism of laser damage. So this award is like a proof of their expertise and on the international level. So how they came up with this business idea? Principle of material science states that everything can be damaged. So optics can be damaged by lasers if they are exposed to the laser irradiation. But why somebody would be willing to pay for this knowledge? Each optical chain laser is strong as much as strong is the weakest part of the chain, which in this case is the optical element. Optics damage can degrade or completely destroy the performance of high-power laser system. So which means that successful laser technology depends on the reliability of the optics that is used in the high laser systems, and the use of the optics having sufficiently high level of damage thresholds. Therefore, this is a challenge for the companies that are producing high-power lasers and those who are producing optical elements for these components. So the only way to minimize the risk is to measure and know the thresholds of the optics used. So here is the service, the need from the market, which was responded by Lidaris scientists. So they are able to measure and provide reliable data to the laser producers and optic producers. They assist in optics development and characterization, so both the processes of the optics development, as well as they consult in designing metrology for the laser-induced damage testing. They do this testing in big variety of conditions, and they are the pioneer in offering measurements in the femtosecond regime. Activities that customers delegate to Lidaris are listed in this slide. So if I'm a company producing optics, I can contact Lidaris and ask to help me to characterize and assist in selection of reliable optical components, optimization of laser optics elements manufacturing processes, development of laser damage testing metrology according to customer-specific needs, consultation on design of experiments, and so on. Lidaris has 4 in-house developed automated measurement systems dedicated to high accuracy LID testing in accordance with international ISO standards. So the key benefits that are appreciated by the customers is that Lidaris is very prompt in order processing, and being an expert in the field, they can give very reliable results. Customers of Lidaris could be split in 4 groups. So these are companies producing optical parts, companies selling various optical parts, companies that are building lasers, scientists and engineers who are developing new optics. So what were the reasons for the scientists to start up the company? First, I would name their willingness to commercialize their knowledge and skills which they gained during 10 years of scientific research in this field. Another reason was that due to unsteady funding of the scientific projects, the Laser Research Center experienced several losses of trained students and staff because during the low funding periods, they were not able to maintain full team, and they had to say goodbye to some very prospective students. They were not able to keep them on board. So this was one of the reasons that they wanted to have their competencies enhanced and not to suffer in terms of human resources during these fluctuations in funding. They also were guaranteed of the support from Vilnius University, as Vilnius University supported their initiative to start this business. And Lidaris is located in Vilnius University premises, still located, and they are using equipment of Vilnius University Laser Research Center, Open Access Center equipment. The last but not least was that in 2012 there was possibility to get funding for establishment of a startup company from Agency of Science, Innovation and Technology in Lithuania. So the scientists from this laser department, they decided to take this chance and to get this funding and to start the company. Formal aspects that we have with this company, we have 2 agreements in place. One agreement is regarding commercialization of technology developed by the scientists of Laser Research Center, and another one is renting agreement to use infrastructure of Vilnius University. What are the benefits for Vilnius University? As I mentioned, Lidaris scientists are very actively involved in international research projects, and they have customers worldwide from the industry. So they are the direct feedback, the direct source of information from the market to our Vilnius University scientists. And this helps them to tailor and to understand the tendencies in the market, what R&D trends could be in the future, and what products market would need. Of course, it is additional income for the university from the renting of equipment. Know-how is not scattered because of lack of permanent positions, and we also, it's a very good place for the very prospective students to work in Lidaris in the future. Benefits for Lidaris is, of course, when they became as a company, during this 1.5 year, they became well known in the industry, and they got collaboration with leading companies in this industry, and they reduced the gap between their in-house assumptions and actual market needs. So they are now are able to meet and even exceed expectations of their customers. Now, being a profitable company, they also have flexible in planning own budget, because you know how complicated is purchasing procedures in the university. It's long and requires a lot of paperwork. Stabilized incomes helps for them to maintain team and keep knowledge in-house. And of course, as I mentioned, they still continue to be very actively involved in all the scientific research, and this is very important for the success of their business, as the more you become known as expert in your field, the more people will seek you out to tap in your expertise, and it will create more selling and referral opportunities for the company. By ending, I would like you to invite to visit Lidaris on the Facebook. Every week they post most beautiful images of optics damage. So, this is very beautiful what we can see happens to the optics when they are exposed to the laser radiation. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Lukshiana. Well, it's time to start our panel discussion, and we have two members of the panel who are very experienced in this field of knowledge-based economy and cooperation between business and universities. And I'd like to hear their opinions, their sort of responses to what we heard this morning, and perhaps some examples from their experience about how this cooperation can work, also commenting from what we heard before. And the first one, I'll ask Mr. Kapla-Seppälä from the University of Turku, since he's sitting next to me, to go first. I think we'll be able to turn these microphones on, I hope, in a little bit, but we'll start with this handheld one. So,
thank you very much, and thank you also for the invitation to this event. My name is Kapla-Seppälä. I work as a senior researcher and a project manager in the Brahea Center of Development, which Director Sinervo also represents. About the conversation, about the keynotes which we just heard, I think they are really interesting cases. And as I have been affiliated with the concept of knowledge transfer for a few years now, I just have a couple of things I would like to bring front here. A little bit about what we are doing, so you can understand my point of view better. What we are doing in Brahea Center is mainly consultative research for the industry, some development projects, and also some training. Especially, the training is especially targeted to the audiences that are demanding innovation and entrepreneurship training. So, but this facilitating technology transfer has been one of our important core areas for already a couple of years. We are developing the entry-level knowledge transfer systems for the universities who are still in the beginning these activities. Also, for the universities who are already developed their technology transfer organizations, we are helping them to streamline the organizations in the way that they are more effective, they can be more inclusive inside the university, and that they can reach the industry better. And also on the other side, that the industry can easier reach the university. About these keynotes and the concept itself, I think that we have kind of when it gets to the R&D. So something is happening, something should be happening on the both sides of the counter, so to say. So these keynotes here, I think they are extremely good examples of the university contribution to the industry. The university's point of view is that how you can make this kind of products out of the consultative research in the way that they can be, so to say, sold to the industry. They have to be, if you think about the sales development, the whole question of the technology transfer and consultative research is that you are basically selling something. You are selling your knowledge to the industry. Some of the universities, they have high expectations on the revenue of this kind of activities. So that's why we have to use sales terms. So about the products, the research, the training, and this kind of and other things, development projects related to this, they have to be delivered and disseminated in the way that they can be understood. The results can be understandable in the industry. So I think that one of the ways of doing this is to combine the research and training activities in the way that there is a dissemination phase. Usually the research reports are really hard to read and they are really complex, and industry management needs to make some quick solutions, quick decisions on the basis of huge amount of data. So I would like to emphasize the role of dissemination and delivery. So not only executive summaries, but also some training. There are even something that the universities can lend from the consulting branch, although they are not academic studies. But they have some really clever ways of delivering their knowledge, like so-called body shopping of the experts. So maybe if there is, for example, a huge project that concerns econometric modeling, so maybe after the project has been done, it could be possible to send the researcher who is affiliated to the project to disseminate it and to launch this and to kind of teach the management of the company who has been the actual client for a certain period of time. So we should be open when we are exploring these possibilities, how to package these products with various dissemination tools. If I might still continue just for a couple of seconds, then another thing is that now I was only talking about the university side. So we have to take a look what happens on the other side of the counter as well. So from the industry side, it's really important to make it, because the industry needs the R&D output here. This is what we're talking about. So one thing is to take a look of the facts that how the industry can actually reach the university's knowledge. So now we're talking about the performance of the knowledge transfer organization and the performance of the key stakeholders in the university who are actually pursuing the university business collaboration. So the university has to be contacted easily. They have to know so-called the number of the phone number of the university. Just like Henry Kissinger was saying during the Cold War, that what will be the phone number of Europe if I want to call them. So university is a really complex configuration, and it's a very complex organization. So university has to be easily reached.
Thank you, Mr. Seppala. Now I'll hand the microphone over to Mr. Kolomenskis, who is the representative of industry on this, of the business. And I'd be very interested in hearing from him what he has to say about all these very different examples of cooperation that the universities have offered. Yes, this is working, so we can move to this.
So, good morning. Yeah, that's, I think that's the occasion where I'm only one business representative between the five. It's a pleasure for me. So, and definitely I really enjoy usually such presentations, because each of such a presentation sparks some ideas for the future business. So, and already now I got some notes so for that, but let me represent a bit of business and my belief. So basically, my belief that, most of the orders have to come from the business. So, and there, I think Mr. Gavrilos brought to us many different statistics, how capable we are. So actually to generate these orders. And we didn't see, good numbers there. So it means that, we have to catch up. And recently I read an interesting interview with one of the venture capitalists from San Francisco. So, and the question was, how we can outcompete the US entrepreneurs out of the small country like Latvia, for example. Well, there was a lot of lyric around that, of course, but the essence was you have to work harder. Well, whatever it means. So, and that means we have to do things faster, we have to do things better. And one of the prerequisites is innovation. So basically, we have to innovate better, we have to innovate faster. And then there's again, when you say innovate, for example, this morning I was, kind of seeing how it happens with the traffic. So people is trying to be innovative, so to overpass the traffic, to be first. So we are innovative in general. But then the question is, what kind of innovation we are talking? And there are several types of innovation, I believe. Well, one is innovation to survive, one is innovation to compete, and another is innovation to win. And then the question, which of these, there are more types, of course, but which of these three types we choose? So, and basically, this type sets well where you are on the big world map. And my belief is, if you really would like to outcompete the US or UK or any bigger country, then you have to innovate to win. And then that's the question, I mean, what does it mean, innovate to win for the business person? And so it means the targeted innovation. Basically, you have to get rid of many things, so you really have to target your idea. You have to really, partner with do whatever things. And I think Kaupo brought a very interesting point. So we are very much talking what we have to do better in the academic institutions. So how we have to increase quality, how we can make a better curriculum, long life education, and things like that, research and development. But the question is, what for? Okay, is the other counterpart same educated, same capable, same ready actually to work as a partner? So because the partner should be on the same level. And I think if you take that brochure that I received this morning, there are interesting, six prerequisites. And I think these 6 prerequisites are very important to business. And I should say that in our business we are very much following to these prerequisites as well, how to basically commercialize ideas, how to learn all the time, how to provide education to our employees, and as well how to research and make a development inside. Because when you talk about the research and development with universities, you have to talk the same language. You have to understand what does it mean, research and development. And that's why I'm very a big believer to the fact that these 6 prerequisites are not only important to the academia, but as well to business bodies. And I would wish to see in audiences more business bodies who are really listening about the things what they have to do, how to earn more and be really innovative to win.
Thank you, Mr. Kolmenskas. I neglected to say that you represent Squalio, the software company. Now, both what you and Mr. Seppala were saying was about communication and about getting business and academia to interact. And I think Mr. Sinervo's example is very interesting here, because you were not analyzing things, making programs, or doing research. You, in fact, were a university helping businesses communicate and work together. And now I'm wondering, why was it that the Vantaa authority went to a university, and moreover a university on the other side of Finland almost, to get businesses to cooperate? What was the specific value added that you could bring to that?
Value added of the university?
Yes.
The Vantaa Innovation Institute's idea is that they realized that they need partner to do some of the analyzing work and having access to certain kind of data what we had as a university. That was the starting point. But our role actually became much larger than what was initially planned. We were really facilitating that cooperation between the companies and with the Vantaa Innovation Institute. And it was a very interesting project from our point of view, not a typical one and not a traditional one, what the universities quite often do, that they have some research results which they are trying to spread to the market. We weren't actually creating any new product or service here. We were combining them. We were providing additional tools for companies to operate together, and listening to those companies, that what are their needs in this sense, and then could build up certain quite simple calculating tools for the winter condition management. There was one other which was measuring and illustrating the passenger flows within the terminals. It's not rocket science, but those were needed. And you don't get any journal points for those, but it was an interesting way of exploiting universities' knowledge to get those companies to work together. At the very beginning, in the very beginning, it was really hard work to get those companies to speak to each other, to reveal some of the internal processes, to create the trust that, yes, we can really speak rather freely here and talk about our experiences. But it was fruitful at the end.
And your university had a structure that could bring together the various departments and people in the university to work on this, so there's a business structure in the university working on this?
That was pretty much concentrating on our department only, so we had a team of 4 or 5 people working on this, one with the numbers, one with the marketing side, one with the facilitating the general structure. And what was important was those workshops where we invited the companies to and facilitated those, that these are the items we are going to discuss and lead that discussion, and then of course based on those constructed the concepts and what was needed in each of those. Those were lengthy sessions. We probably had about 15 of those with the companies, not every 17 company at the same time, but it's a and it was a learning curve for us also from the university side, that how the companies operate, and how can we make those large companies be equal with the smaller ones in these processes.
Continuing the theme of communication, I wanted to ask Mr. Bethers, looking at your presentation, I couldn't help noticing there were a lot of German companies there as well. So you export your services, clearly. How do you, as a university structure, efficiently communicate with these various companies? How do you find them, and how do you market your services?
Probably a point is that if you are talking about big industries, then they usually have their research departments, which can be considered as faculties of university, and then it's the same. You are talking with people who are doing research on their daily. So I don't think that in that sense it's that much different from making academic contacts. Just the partner is at the industry side.
And how much of your income is from exports, roughly?
30%.
30%, yeah. And is it more difficult to find?
If I combine the budget of the structure, which is company and the part of university.
And is it more difficult? Is it difficult to find people? More difficult to find people outside Latvia than inside Latvia that understand what you're doing and they can work with you?
I wouldn't distinguish that, but I think there is no difference. People are either open or they are ready to think about new things, or they are not.
I wanted to move on to Ms. Lukšian and ask you now. Mr. Bether said that they're not a spin-off. They're a spin but not off. But you are a spin-off, and you indicated some of the advantages of that. But I think that the main, of course, for the company, it's clear that you're a company and you're making money and so forth. How do you keep that contact with the university to make sure that you still have your finger on the pulse of research and on the newest developments? Is that a difficult connection to make?
You mean from the point of the company?
Yes, yeah.
So actually they are still located in the premises of Vilnius University. So actually they use our infrastructure of Vilnius University. So physically they are very, very close with the university. They are just in the same building, in the same premises. And so they meet maybe on daily basis with the scientists who are still in Vilnius University, and they can talk and exchange their success stories, so what's going on in the market, some feedback from the customers. So as I mentioned, they really bring a direct feedback from the market to our scientists in the university, and this helps them to decide, okay, to feel what are the tendencies in the market. Do we really need to do this R&D projects, or maybe there is some new tendencies that we really need. We have experience, we have knowledge, we have people, just we really need a little bit to change it a little bit other direction. So this is very close cooperation between the company and the university.
And the university is open to this. I mean, are there other similar companies at Vilnius University?
Yes, we do. We do have another spin-off company. They are also from the very close relationship with the physics faculty. Also, they are in the lightning technology. So they also commercialize technology that was developed in the physics faculty, and now these scientists. They try to sell it to worldwide, this technology.
Mr. Seppala, from your experience, looking at these three examples, what are the things that you could recommend to our listeners that people should take and say, yes, that's something that we can imitate? And maybe what are some things that you didn't hear here that are others, that's from concrete examples that you know that could be effective in getting companies and universities to work together?
Well, of course, I think that everybody are aware of the concept of this traditional consultative research, but for example, well, I already talked about how to make it even more attractive for a company, and also how the companies can reach the universities better, or at least that we should put some focus on it. But the thing is that what other things there are, and I think that this facilitating development and facilitating coordination, facilitating cooperation is really important. And in Petri's case, it was about facilitating the cooperation of this service ecosystem around the airport. But this is also something that we can do in relation to research and development and product development. We have been experimenting a way of facilitated open innovation, and that is something that it can be done with the SMEs and even micro companies. And it's something that it's not like in the airport concepts case. It's not normal research by itself. It's facilitating the development of a product. So university has a kind of unique role that as a facilitator, it's completely neutral. If it's like in Finland, the universities are public universities. They have a really high reputation for being objective. So they can facilitate a group of companies, and they can facilitate the cooperation in product development, which is kind of really hard that if one company wants to make some kind of R&D alliance with their maybe potential rival. So they need some kind of outside partner to help them to go together. And this open innovation, we have some kind of evidences that it will actually work, at least on the SME level. So, and okay, this is not about the studying itself, but actually there is also something that we gain from this, because the process itself and the developing of this kind of facilitated R&D, it's really interesting as its own field of research. So as we were doing this with the companies, we were actually developing the concept on this kind of, by using the academic tools, and we were publishing also articles about it.
Thank you. Mr. Kolomenskis, the software industry in Latvia, there are a lot of small, medium-sized companies. Do you think this model could work in Latvia for the software industry, and maybe you have some other models or concrete examples, because that's what we're looking for here, concrete examples of university business cooperation that have worked that you could highlight for the audience?
Yeah, sure. Well, of course, there are many models who have worked and who haven't, so, and usually you learn more from these who haven't, okay? Yeah. And in this case, I would like to bring an example. So just last week I was visiting Tallinn, what I do pretty often nowadays, and I was just, noticing at the receptions of the people, native English or American English, I would say, and then you kind of try to look around what these people are doing there. So, and then you see these all these different, the small things, kind of saying Skype and all that around, and then you notice that there are a lot of people from US, from other these places, and I would say that yes, there is some some limits what you can reach being a small. Okay, but if you really would like to win the game, if you really would like to be recognized in the larger markets, so you have to partner with the larger companies. So, and the important thing which probably didn't flow around during discussion is the cooperation. So that if you are the small countries, you have to partner. So I'm saying if you are the small company, you have to partner. I think the Petteri case was a very good one. I mean, how the small companies can partner and bring a bigger thing. And that's the way what we believe as well. So by partnering, so we do have the joint venture as well with the University of Latvia, and we can see really the result. I mean, by partnering with university, what does it bring? And same time, we believe that we have to partner with the companies outside of Latvia. So which brings different aspects to you, and especially from the larger countries. So whether that's the, I don't know, UK, US, or any of these countries, it doesn't only provide a market to you, so to your ideas, I mean the capacity, because usually if you talk about Latvia, so you talk about, in general you talk about 2 million people, but then if you talk about really, for example, we have produced the technology where you don't need a password, so you can really manage all your e-services and things without a password. But then when you start to calculate how many mobile phones or smartphones you got in such a small country, well, the market is not so large, so which means that you have to go out. You have to really go out, you have to establish the partnerships, and that's the way how to do. So.
Okay. We have time for some questions. I'll get up. An opportunity for people to ask. Are there any questions? I'd be happy to give the microphone to somebody who has something to ask or to comment. Very good.
My name is Baiba Miltovic. I'm representing Latvian Agriculture University. I would like to ask about Finland. Apart from the airport concept, do you have also other concept examples in Finland what you are carrying out? Thank you.
If you are referring to this similar kind of concept cases of gathering or clustering companies, I wouldn't say that we have exactly the same kind of experience in our university at least, but we have been working, and we are working actually in the southwest Finland of clustering the companies who are operating in the maritime sector with the shipyards and with the maritime technology. But we are not at this stage yet. There are of course examples of grouping companies together for certain projects and generating something new in that sense. For example, Kaapo can tell you about one, or knows more about one case when we had a companies from furniture business, from the plastics and from the metal industry, and they could operate together in planning a new kind of products for the furniture business. But this clustering idea is there, and we are looking for the opportunities to do it with some other sectors. Maritime is the first, and hopefully we will find some others in the future. But it's also a difficult one to creating clusters is not exactly a possibility. I would say that facilitating those which are there to be born is what we can do.
Questions? Other questions? Really nothing? No innovative ideas? No desire to find out something more about? If you mentioned, is there a question? There we go. Okay, I'm sorry.
I have a question, gentlemen, from the airport concept. You mentioned you use intelligence. So this intelligence that you use for your concept, is it in-house, built in-house, or is it outsourced? And if it is outsourced, what are the methods you use for screening?
If you refer to the business intelligence, what we collected.
Yes, that's right.
That was done both in-house and sort of outsourced, because we have access or we are using a global database of companies' financial information. So we use that to scout the airport operators, developers, and their financial condition to predict that are these potential to do new investments in the future, or are their financials in such shape that it's unlikely that they will invest in the future. That was the in-house part of it. And we did also some competitors' analysis using that database. But then we had, actually, that part was led by the Vantaa Innovation Institute, but we were operating together. We had a team we bought actually from certain consultant businesses a analysis of the certain airfields in China and in the Far East and in certain parts of Eastern Europe, that what kind of projects are there ongoing there. And then we used some students to scout the certain new development project nearby the Baltic Sea region rather. And our work was then to combine these and distribute them to the companies in an understandable, ready-to-use form.
Mr. Bethers?
Yeah, I even don't know whether it is a question, but already several times different cooperation models and structures were mentioned. I think that there is one fundamental difference between industry and universities, because in the academic world, the personalities play a very big role. If you are talking about cooperation with university, you usually don't think about cooperation as with a company, but with certain people. And therefore, and universities are of course more conservative in that sense. And it would be interesting to hear, maybe it's a question even then, what's wrong with the old school model about strong professorship, where are these professors who build their reputation, who are the head of faculties, departments, whatever, and they are more or less known by their names, and then industry know whom to call, instead of calling business incubator or...
Yeah. May I? I would say there's nothing wrong with that. I would strongly support strong characters leading the research teams and be known to the industry, and that is the case in many times. And in addition to that, we can have different kind of facilitating or supportive systems in the universities. And it has been mentioned a couple of times here that in a small country it's relatively easy to collect the actors of certain field of business or certain discipline. That is true. It is a benefit that people typically know each other, and also those who are in a business, they have probably been educated in a certain faculty, in a certain university, in order to operate there. And that is what I hope that we can increase also. Knowledge exchange, meaning that it's a two-way transfer of technology, data, information, and people So there would be mobility between businesses and universities, people working in the businesses would join universities and vice versa. So it would be exchanged rather than transfer, one side transfer of knowledge from one point to another.
Mr. Seppala.
I would also like to add that I by no means I meant that I would like to take the kind of decrease the role of strong professors. The thing is that it's really important that there are known people, people who are in the faculty and department management that want to take the control of these activities and want to search for new collaboration. But the thing is that I think that there has to be a possibility to ask help from the university administration and the technology transfer office in case that there are some problems encountered in pursuing the UBC.
Thank you. We have time for one last question. Yes.
Hello. I wanted to ask a question about how can a scientist sell their project, and on the other side, how can an entrepreneur know that the idea would be great and will be successful? How can you evaluate those things? Thank you.
Perhaps a couple.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. I think that the question is it's a very good and relevant question, and it can't be answered shortly. But this is the basic problem of the concept of knowledge transfer in general. So most of the universities are, of course, one of the ways is that you have these strong and socially active professors who can work as, who can facilitate these the research projects. The institutional solution of this thing used in most of the universities in Europe is to develop a technology transfer office. And the technology transfer office, they take at least part, they control at least part of the contacts between the university and the business life, and they also sell the know-how of the university to the outside world. But the technology transfer office has to operate in two kind of spaces at the same time. And at the same time, they have to be known among the business stakeholders, so they have to market themselves outside the university. But also they have to be inclusive inside the university. And that means that the individual researcher has to know that there is this kind of service available. And this is not the case, even in our university, this is necessarily not the case with everybody who is doing their own research projects. So the TTO is kind of in a really crucial role here. And we have been trying, inside our own university, our institution has tried to facilitate the cooperation between the individual research groups and the university administration as well.
Mr. Kolomenskis, I'm interested in the business answer to this question as well.
So I think that, well, the marketing is key here. So, and of course, such things like technology transfer centers, like things like that, are meant for all these marketing purposes that you can come and see how it goes and what is done. But when I say marketing, I believe this marketing should happen as well out of institutes. So we have to talk about the different tools like open doors days, and there are a lot of examples what we can learn from. So this is nothing, I mean, what we should innovate there. So for example, we can take, and I think that one of the best examples is the MIT lab, which is a Massachusetts laboratory, where you can basically, well, see any research and development live, so which is what is going on, and you can schedule the visit as an entrepreneur. And actually for me as an entrepreneur to get a visit there, they are busy for next 6 months. So that means that visits are going on. So I think that openness, open doors policy and the marketing, so basically market anything what you have is something, I mean, what really could help.
Thank you. Any other comments on this? Well, I think then it's, we've come to the end of, I think what has been a very lively and interesting discussion. 3 very different, inspiring examples of the way that universities can cooperate and work with business and develop and build this bridge to success. We've seen that cooperation is important. We've seen that it's important to have the intellectual background, and we've also seen a spin-off, which I think is a very good example. And then at the end, we saw the importance both of cooperation, but of networking and of personal brands. And I think that at lunch is the time when these two things can be put to the fore. So I invite you all to lunch downstairs in the cafeteria. There will be a special space separately for the conference members, and we meet here again at 1 o'clock for the next panel. Thank you very much.